Okay, so a lot of people will teach their horses how to move their hind end, right? And so you'll kind of pick up, put a little pressure towards that hind end, get that hind end to scoot away. A lot of horses will actually start to, when you start to teach this to them, they might start to like drift to the rail and say maybe you're asking them to move their hind end and they're just floating and they're not moving it, and they end up at this rail, okay? And what most people do is like, we're up against the rail. She doesn't have any room to move that hind end. Let me take my horse back to the middle of the round pen where there's plenty of room, and then I can go back to working on moving the hind end. I get the sentiment, but what we're doing is we're actually teaching our horse to just kind of get out of the pressure by going to the rail and not actually paying attention to what we're asking them. And so what I like to do is when my horse floats towards the rail, and Gracie's being a good girl, she's not doing this, but say she was trying to float towards the rail, I'm still going to ask her to move her hind end. So what I'll do is I'm going to step her way up against it where she's got like hardly any room to go, and then I'll put some pressure towards this hind end there and have her step towards the rail, towards the obstacle. I love my Seven Peaks round pins because they're nice and stout and firm, and so I don't have to worry about, you know, because I used to have those little, you guys know what I'm talking about, those little green cheap round pins that come apart at the seams, and they're always, you know, if a horse kicks it or runs into it, puts a big old dent in the round pin. Not these. They're pretty sturdy and stout. I can put pressure here, and even if she swung her whole hind quarter into there, good girl, it's not going to do anything to hurt my rail. But the point of this exercise is teaching your horse, even when there's an obstacle there, to be attentive to you, and even when it doesn't make sense, to say, hey, I know that obstacle's there, I'm not going to push you through it, but can you step over just a little bit more towards it for me? There, don't go forward. What a pony, good girl. And that builds trust because she's learning that even when in her mind she says, I've got no place to go, if I asked her to move over, I want to know that she's going to say, yes, sir, and trust me not to put her in harm's way.